Welcome to the Retirementality channel. This is a place where I want to change your retirement about mentality. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. If you're returning, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you found value in one of my prior videos. We talk a lot up here about getting to retirement. We talk some about the FIRE movement. I'm creating a new FIRE movement. That's a little bit of what I want to talk about today. We talk about doing it through real estate investing, through creating passive income, because you don't retire the way your parents did. And today it's all on you. You don't get the gold watch and the pension and live happily ever after on a golf course in Florida. So what is the new FIRE movement about? What is this new retirement-mentality I want to talk about? Well, today I want to talk about don't retire early. One of the biggest problems with the FIRE movement is the retire early part of the FIRE. As you know, it stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. The financial independence part, awesome, great. Everybody needs to be working towards financial independence. It's the financial independence that's going to free you from your shitty job where you sit in a cubicle all day and you are in the grind and you don't want to go to work. Once you reach financial independence, you have the freedom to stay at your crappy job. Maybe it pays well, but you also have that FU money where you can tell your boss who's driving you crazy or pushes you over the edge, you don't need this job, you can walk away. You can start a business that you've been wanting to start. You can get your real estate license you've been wanting to do. You can do a YouTube channel or a podcast or whatever it is in your life that you think would be more fun. You now have, when you get to financial independence, you have that ability to do a passion project or have that time freed for yourself. So how can you get to FI? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. I'm going to tell you the best way to do it. And I'm going to tell you why retiring early is not the best idea. The FIRE movement thinks you can just save your way to retirement, just sock away $2.5 million and just kick back on a beach and live off the interest for the rest of your life. And there's no way I could have saved my way to $2.5 million or more. I made decent money for most of my life, like between 50 and 100, with my wife as a teacher making about 50, between 40 and 60 for most of her career. So to save 2.5, and we're really frugal too. We don't spend a lot of money. So to save our way to retirement was just something I never would have been able to do. That's where the real estate comes in. So I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't retire early. I'm going to go into the numbers a little bit about trying to retire even off of $2.5 million and why it's never going to work, why it's a bad idea, why the FIRE movement has this wrong. I'm going to go into the numbers with you a little bit and stay till the end. And I'm going to tell you how you can FIRE. I'm going to tell you how you can do it using real estate. I'm going to tell you why it's the best option and how it can get you way into retirement, way faster with way more money. So let's get into it right now. Okay, let's just start with the numbers. This is the most logical place to start, and I'm going to show you why the numbers don't work for early retirement with saving up $1 million and living, they call it the 4% rule, where you withdraw 4% every year, or hopefully, we're not just putting the money into a savings account. Those days are gone. Savings accounts pay 0.025% interest. But these guys are putting it into an index fund like the Vanguard index funds. I have some money in there. I can't remember the acronym off the top of my head. But these guys' goal is putting this money into index funds or investing in the stock market, hopefully earning somewhere between 5 and 8%, and then withdrawing and living off of 4% of that income. So if you've got $1 million in the bank and you're withdrawing 4%, let's say it's making 5, you're still losing 3% to inflation. We're going to get into that. But you're drawing 4% of that $1 million. That's $40,000 a year that you want to live on. So I'm not even going to get into the taxes and I'm just going to make these nice round numbers with $1 million. 4%, that's $40,000 to live on pre-tax. So maybe you're living on $30,000 or $40,000 a year now, and you're like, man, if I could live on $40,000 a year, which is what I'm living on right now, and not have to work, how awesome would that be? It sounds great, but on paper, until you put your pen to the paper and you start actually crunching those numbers. Okay, I'm gonna move the camera back a little bit so I have some room to put some numbers over here. So let's talk about it. You have $1 million in the bank, you're living off of that 4%, that's $40,000. I'm going to look at my notes a little bit while I'm talking to you guys here. The problem is if you retire at 40 years old, living on $40,000 a year, you think that sounds okay for now. But the problem is, let's just talk simply about inflation. If there's a simple 3% per year inflation over 10 years, after 10 years, your $40,000 of income is only really going to be worth $29,763. And let's carry, like, if you retire at 40, that only gets you to 50. So let's go 20 years out. After 20 years, that 40,000 is only going to be worth $22,147. So you retired at 40, making $40,000 a year pre-tax. And by 60, it's only, you're still getting that 40K, but with inflation, it's only, the spending power is the same as living off of $22,147 today. So do you want to be in retirement at 60 years old trying to live off $22,000 a year? No. And that is the major problem with this FIRE movement and trying to live off of your dividend income or your interest income off of $1 million. Okay. So let's say you got $2 million in the bank. You saved up twice as much money. You still retired. Let's say you retired at 50. You saved up $2 million and you're making $80,000 if you're living off the 4% rule. So $80,000 at age 50. Now, after 10 years with 3% inflation, your $80,000 is now the same as living off of $59,527. And after 20 years, when you're 70, it's going to be like living off $44,294. I could carry this farther into 30 years to get you into your 80s and your 90s. You can see where this is going though. You're not going to be able to live off of $2 million saved up on the 4% rule just because of inflation. This is like the opposite of the compound interest phenomenon that these guys try to tell you about when they're saving the money. Like, oh, compound interest, once you're saving the money and it just grows exponentially. Well, that's fine. Even if it grew to the $2 million place where you're living off of that $80,000, it sounds great on paper. But as you extrapolate those numbers out and your 60s or 70s, your 80s, you're going broke. And then the problem is it's like the opposite of compound interest. Your $80,000 that you were living on, now it's only $44,000. So you start taking a little bit of money out of that $2 million to help offset it. You're like, oh, I just need an extra 10 grand this year. And then it's an extra 20 grand next year. And all of a sudden you're dwindling down your 2 million. So as you dwindle that down, now your 44,000 is only 42,000, and then it's 38,000, and then inflation keeps kicking in. And this is a recipe for disaster. This is the roadmap to broke ass. Your ass is going to be broke if you try to do it like this. All right. So what's the answer? The answer is recurring income. You've got to have recurring income coming in, like with what? Oh, like real estate. So if you have real estate paying you every month, then the good thing about real estate is it's appreciating, and it's probably appreciating at more than a 3% value. And your rents are also going up at least with the 3% of inflation. So if your real estate's appreciating at 5 or 10% per year, plus your rents are appreciating at 3 to 5% per year, this is a recipe to get rich. If you do it this way, let's say by the time you're 40 or 50, you've got $2 million of real estate. Well, that $2 million of real estate, maybe you've got loans on half of it. So you've only had to come up with $1 million, but you've got $2 million in assets that are paying you monthly, and $2 million in real estate with a 50% debt load on it. That's about where I am right now. That's paying me close to $50,000 a year. So I could be making $50,000 a year. And then as my rents go up every year, I'm going to be beating inflation. And also my properties are appreciating, and those renters are paying down my loan balances. So until when my loan balances get paid all the way down, say in 10 or 20 years, then my $2 million, let's just not even take appreciation into account. My $2 million in real estate that was making me $50,000. If I didn't buy any more real estate and I got that 50% loan, that's $1 million in debt I got paid off over 20 years. My 50K is now going to be making me 100K. Now I'm making 100K with $2 million of real estate with no debt on it. So now I can kick back for 20 years, live on my 100K, let it appreciate at the 3%, or even just let the rents go up at the 3% value, beating inflation, or even staying equal to inflation. So I'm staying current with inflation. I'm living on the equivalent of $100,000 for as long as I want. And then let's say at age 70, I'm tired of managing these properties. I want to get out of the game. Well, by then, maybe my 2 million is worth 2.5 or 3 million, depending on how the markets have been and how the world has gone. So now hopefully I can sell my real estate. Now I'm 70 and I've got 2.5 or 3 million in the bank. Now I can draw on that 4%, but now I only need to survive on it for another 10 or 20 years if I live until I'm 80 or 90 years old. This is the smart way to retirement if you want. But the reason I said you don't need to retire early, once you hit that financial independence, you've got the real estate. You can call the real estate your job if you want, but you're not going to want to just sit on the beach all day. I live on one of the prettiest beaches on the planet right now, and I still don't want to just sit on the beach every day. I'm doing these YouTube videos because I want to help you guys. I'm also selling real estate. I also have another side job selling printing. I also have, I'm working on starting a property management company. So I've got a lot of irons in the fire because it's boring to just sit on the beach all day. I like to get my work done by 2 or 3 o'clock and go out and sit on the beach every day, but not all day every day. I like to get stuff done. So you could be making money on your real estate. You could be making money on a side project, start a new business. And, you know, there's a lot of ways you could do it. And that is how you get to fat fire. Instead of trying to go to lean fire and figuring out how the hell you're going to live on $40,000 a year or $60,000 a year, why not figure out how to live on $100,000 a year and still do something for fun that makes you more money? So anyway, these are the problems with the FIRE movement. That's why I'm starting the new and improved FIRE movement. But the acronym is the same, but it stands for Financial Independence, Recreational Employment. I don't know if that's going to fit in this space. We'll have to make it fit in here. But that is my new mission, to teach you guys financial independence. That's the number one key. And then the goal of that is to have recreational employment. That, I think, is the key to happiness in life. You're going to make money. You're going to do what you love in life, and you can live somewhere awesome like I'm doing right now. You don't have to. You can live somewhere crappy. I don't care. Do what you want. You do you. I'll do me. But the point is, hit the financial independence. Nothing happens till you get there. So I hope you like this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please hit that subscribe button. And if you liked it, smash that big thumbs up button down there and ring the little bell, and I'll let you know every time I put out a new video. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.